I agreed on an open relationship, but my wife enjoyed it a bit too much. Seeking advice. I, M33, recently got into an open relationship with my wife, F31, because we wanted to spice things up in our marriage, but my wife took it too far. I don't know how to tell her I don't like the way she's going about it because I agreed on having an open relationship. We have been married for 5 years now, and things got boring in our marriage. Everything became a routine, and I did not really look forward to coming home from work every day like I used to before. I stopped feeling the excitement of being married like I did a few years ago. I got annoyed with my wife for no reason at all. I just got tired of seeing the same face every day. I hated the feeling I had, but I kept it all to myself. I never spoke about it to my wife because I felt bad for feeling that way. I'm a high school teacher, so I get back from work before my wife. She works at a restaurant and gets back late in the evening. I used to stay up till she got back from work before, but I stopped waiting. I slept before she got back and woke up early before she left for work. We did not even have time to speak to each other, and our sex life was not good at all. My wife got back from work early one day because her restaurant closed early. That was when I realized that our marriage was really not fun anymore. She was back from work early and we had time to spend together, but none of us made an effort. I used to think that I was the only one who found our marriage boring, but my wife also acted like she was tired. I was tired of the way things were going, so I decided to speak to one of my friends about it. My friend said it was normal to get tired in a marriage and I should just make an effort. I did not find his words helpful because I already tried all those things. I spoke to one of my colleagues at work and he told me we should try going on double dates with other couples. I did not like the idea of going out with other couples because it was too forward and unusual. I did not want to cheat on my wife, so I was ready to do anything. I asked her if she wanted us to go on double dates together to spice up our marriage, and she refused. She did not like my idea and told me it would only make both of us uncomfortable. I did not like the fact that she was rejecting my offers to make our marriage work. I stopped trying from that day and decided to let her be. I was tempted to cheat on her many times, but I never went through with it. She got back from work one day and said she read online that one of the best ways to spice up our marriage was an open relationship. I had to look up what an open relationship was online because I never heard of it before. My wife said it was just an idea and we did not really have to go through with it. I thought about it for days because it was a big step. I agreed on having an open relationship a few days later because I thought it was the best decision. I was also happy that I was not the only one who felt bored in the relationship. We made rules that said we were always to use protection and none of us must bring their affair partner home. We agreed not to date the same person for more than a month to avoid getting things complicated. I started seeing a lady who was introduced to me by my friend. Our relationship was just based on sex, and that was it. It was fun to date someone else after 5 years, and I liked the new development. I followed the rules and did not have raw sex or date the same person for more than a month. My wife followed the rules too, and also dated other people. We had sex once in a while and spent time with each other as much as we could even though we had other partners. Our marriage became fun and interesting, and I looked forward to seeing my wife after work again. But my wife took things too far. She stopped coming home after work some nights, and she would not pick my calls. I ignored her actions at first because I felt she was just having fun like I was, but it never stopped. In the night when we were in our bedroom, she would spend hours on the phone with her affair partner. She did not sleep until it was extremely late, and she even talked about sex on the phone with her partner. We did not make rules about phone calls, but I did not expect her to take things that far. The reason I agreed to an open marriage was because I wanted to save our marriage and make us closer again. I did not expect it to make things worse. I spoke to my friend about it, and he told me to give her time because she was just excited. I also had a partner, but I never called her while I was in bed with my wife. I made sure there were boundaries even when we had sex. I could not bring myself to talk to my wife about it. I was surprised when I got to know that my wife started dating her partners for more than a month. I got to know because I listened to her calls at night when she sneaked off to the living room. I asked her about it once, and she denied it immediately. I never visited the restaurant my wife worked in before, but one day I wanted to be romantic, so I decided to go see her at work. I caught her flirting with a customer at the counter. I was very jaloux and I hated it. I did not like the way she flirted openly with him. I could not say anything because I was the one that agreed to an open relationship. I got angry that day and decided to go sleep at my partner's house. I never slept outside of the house before, so I expected my wife to call me and ask why I was not home, but she did not call me. I stayed another day at my partner's place, but I did not get any call from my wife. I went home feeling very upset that day, only to find my wife kissing her partner in our living room. I got angry and asked him to leave the house. I tried confronting my wife, but she made excuses and said his house was under renovation, so she brought him home. I did not like the fact that the only thing she apologized for was bringing him home. Our marriage was so broken that my wife did not care that I spent a whole day outside. She did not ask where I came back from. She got dressed and followed her partner to his house that day. I regretted my decision to have an open marriage that day because it did not help our marriage get better. If I just wanted to cheat on my wife before, I would have done that before she even asked for an open marriage. The situation was complicated, and I was frustrated because it bothered me a lot. I ignored the way my wife broke the rules and decided to have fun too. I dated new partners every month, but did not break the rules. I never got into anything serious with anyone because I wanted our open relationship to stop. I did not know how to tell my wife or how to start the conversation. I wanted us to start working on our marriage and get back to being real couples. The open marriage was just a temporary thing that I needed to end as soon as possible. I just found it hard to start a conversation with my wife. My wife started receiving gifts and flowers, and she did not make an effort to hide them from me. I did not like to see the flowers her partner bought for her on the dining table. Her partner came to the house to pick her up one day, and she left with him and did not return for 2 days. I noticed that we barely spoke like we used to, and we were back to square one. I could tell that I made a mistake by agreeing to an open relationship because things were better before the open relationship. I had to do something fast before I ended up losing my marriage, so I decided to ask my brother for help. I visited my brother 2 weeks ago, and he made me regret my decision even more because he called me a big fool. He told me I made a mistake by getting into an open relationship. He told me to end the open relationship and try to fix my marriage. I knew it was not that easy. I had to be careful, or I'd appear as a hypocrite. I was the one who said we should go on double dates first, so it meant I made the first move to make our marriage fun. I cannot just tell her we should end things because I got jealous. My wife was comfortable with her partner driving her home during the weekend. Our neighbors noticed this, and people started gossiping. It was no longer a secret because my wife did not bother hiding it. 1 week ago, she told me she wanted to date her current partner for more than 1 month. I did not agree with that because it was going to complicate things, but my wife was adamant. She said she was tired of changing partners and wanted to stick to one. I could not believe that my wife was not tired of dating other people yet. I stopped dating other people already and wanted us back to being a real married couple, but she was ready to have a constant partner. I told her to give me 1 week so I could think about it before giving her a reply. She's at her partner's place now, and she will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day I will tell her if she can have a constant partner. I've been thinking about her request for 1 week now, and I have never been so confused. I don't know what to do or say. I don't want her to continue having partners, but I don't know if it will be a good idea to tell her that. I don't want to be selfish and tell her to stop dating other people just because I stopped. It will make me look bad, and she might get angry. I know she has broken all the rules we made, and she has brought her partners to our house. I cannot ask my family for advice, because that will make things worse. I come from a very traditional family that hates infidelity. That is why I never thought about cheating on my wife before. I cannot tell them my wife and I have been dating other people in our marriage. I want this open relationship to end because I do not like how it made things worse, but I don't want to trigger my wife. What if she gets angry and demands a divorce? I do not want to get a divorce from my wife. I have always been against divorce, so I want my marriage to work. but I don't want to see my wife dating another man and staying at his place while she is still married to me. I am jealous of their relationship and I want my wife back no matter what. Any advice on how to tell her how I feel without losing her will be appreciated. Please help me. It's urgent. Update. This is an update to this post I made 1 year ago. I saw a lot of comments under this post that day, and I was able to get a few tips on what to do. My wife got back home the next day and asked for the answer to her request. I listened to what most of you wrote in the comments and told her I did not want her to have a constant partner. I told her it was time we ended the open marriage because it was not helping our relationship. My wife got angry when I told her that and accused me of being selfish. Exactly what I was worried about. I told her I was just trying to save our marriage, but she was not ready to listen to me. She asked why I only wanted to end the open relationship when I was satisfied. I tried my best to make her calm down and listen to my reasons, but she was not ready to listen. She told me she also needed some time to think about it, and then she left the house. I felt guilty because I remembered finding my marriage boring and tried to look for ways to spice it up. I did not think that my wife felt the same way and just waited for me to speak first. I did not want to divorce my wife because I still cared about her back then. We had a love marriage before things got boring. A part of me blamed myself for not working hard to fix our relationship. I just took the easy way and chose an open relationship. The open relationship only created more problems in our marriage. My wife agreed to end the open marriage 2 days after our argument. I did not expect her to give in that fast because of the way she reacted when I said I wanted us to end the open marriage. I did not think about it too much because I was happy to have my marriage back. I made sure we had dinner together and spent a lot of time together. We started going on dates regularly and our marriage was fun again. I started going to see her at work and she visited me at school once in a while. I noticed a positive change in my wife because she became more active and happy. I thought her source of joy was because our marriage was back to normal. She went to the grocery store one day to get some groceries, and she left her phone at home because it was dead and needed to be charged. She had just finished a night shift, so she did not have time to charge her phone at work. She did not come back on time, and her phone had charged for a while by then, so I switched it on for her. Several text messages and missed calls came in once I switched the phone on. I did not want to be a stalker and check her messages, but the name of the sender caught my attention. Mine. I tried unlocking her phone, but I did not know her password, so I switched off the phone again. When she came back that day, I did not tell her about the name I had seen in her phone, but I knew something was fishy. I suspected that she was having an affair, but since I had no evidence, I wanted to wait till I got the evidence I needed. My wife told me she had a night shift the next day. It was normal for her to go on night shifts, so she went. I decided to follow her that day. I had no specific reason for doing so, but I found it weird that she was on a night shift for 2 days straight. I saw her going into the restaurant, but she came out again. I found her with the same guy that dropped her off at the house. They got into a car and left. I did not want to jump to conclusions, so I waited outside the restaurant for minutes, but she did not come back. I called her and asked where she was, and she told me she was working at the restaurant. I asked her again just to be sure, and she got upset and told me I was disturbing her at work. I did not need any other proof, so I went home that night. The next day when she came back, I asked her where she was again, and she said she was at the restaurant. I told her how I saw her leaving, but she tried to deny it. I threatened to call her colleagues and ask them if she stayed all night. I did not have their phone numbers. I was bluffing. She got scared and said she was not at the restaurant. I asked where she went to, and that was when she finally told me she was still dating her partner. My wife made me believe she was done with dating just so I could stop disturbing her. I had been deceived. I felt like the biggest fool in the world. She did not feel remorseful and told me she planned on telling me the truth. She said she fell in love with her partner and wanted to be with him. I was heartbroken, but I was not foolish enough to stay in that marriage. She moved out and filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Our divorce was easy because there were no children involved. My family was disappointed in me after they found out the truth. I'm still trying to build back my relationship with them. I've been focused on my teaching job, and I am not ready to date for now. I need time to process all that happened in the last 1 year. Thank you all for your comments and suggestions. I found it helpful. A little advice: don't get into an open relationship if you can't take the heat.